pleasant good morning to you. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Today is Monday, the 6th day of January in the year 2025. Yeah, we made it. We are into the year 2025. Happy New Year to all the students. Happy New Year to you all. I hope that you had a wonderful New Year, and I hope that you made all sorts of resolutions and all that things that what you're going to do in this new year. So welcome. It is so good to be alive, to be in the land of the living for 2025. We are alive in 2025. So welcome one and all. And as you come on this year, don't let us have to remind you to share the live, and also give us a thumbs up and let people know that we're here. Share the life. We are here. We are beginning the new year. This is the first program for this year, first class for 2025. We are now in season 4, and this is episode 1, class number 1. Last year was season 3, and we had a total of 95 classes last year. We hope to do more than that this year. We hope to do. So with your support, with your continued support, I'm sure we're going to be able to do that. So yes, welcome. Another good day that the Lord has made. Another year that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. As I've said, let's give praise and thanks for seeing the new year and for being in the land of the living. Many would not have been this fortunate. And it is indeed a privilege and a pleasure to be allowed to be in the land of the living for the new year. So there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to look forward to in this new year. I know at the start of the year, midnight, as we say, you make all kind of resolutions. They say among the number one resolutions people will make is to visit the gym, to lose weight, to make more money, to go to church more frequently. What are your resolutions for this year? Let me know. Well, my resolution, speaking of resolution, I can tell you, is to make sure that we continue to bring you the valuable and credible information. You know, this year is a funny year, 2025 in Ghana, supposed to be an election year, and they say silly season. When election campaign starts, it's silly season. But in Ghana, if you're following the news, it's silly season every day. Every day is a lot of stupidness and madness and craziness hearing and from particular politicians in particular. So they don't have to wait for election campaign to be silly. They're silly all year round. So they just have levels of silliness, and they are going to increase their silliness. You know, Tanti Moore and all of them, it's madness. A lot of crap they're going to come and they're going to tell us. But we on this program, my colleague and I, we are going to dissect, especially in our area of expertise, which is law enforcement and policing. That's what we know. We're not politicians. We are not politicians, but we know we were training law enforcement. We know law enforcement good. And by now, all you students should recognize that. So when they come with any craziness in the law enforcement arena, which we are capable, or which we are qualified to comment on, we're going to comment, and we're going to continue to call them out. Many of them are uncomfortable when we do so, but so what? If speaking the truth makes them uncomfortable, that is not on us, that is on them. So yes, welcome. Share the live, share, and give me thumbs up. Give us the thumbs up, and we're going to bring it to you live and direct. So it's such a pleasure to be here in this new year and to continue to bring you credible, valuable information. Before I do the roll call and make the announcements, I want to let you know that there's a protest this morning that I want to say it should be going on now. So that's why I'm doing it now, even before the announcement time. In front of the appeal court, some people are there protesting the non-appointment of the Chief Justice and the Chancellor. It is there today, counted the note I get from 10 to 1. There's Guyana time, so it should be going on now. And in front of the High Court in High Street, there's by Pegasus there. And then they continue tomorrow, same time between 10 to 1, outside the High Court on Charlotte Street, on Charlotte Street, between King and Avenue Republic. the same time between 10 and 1. It's about time some pressure be brought. At least we need to have an explanation as to why the Chancellor and the Chief Justice are not appointed when you have a man in the form of the Commissioner now who past retirement age, who himself admitted to committing crime, that $8.5 million that he admitted that he collected in his office. There's misconduct in public office, and that man is appointed. But the Chancellor and the Chief Justice cannot be appointed. So the protest is there. I urge you, when you have the time, to join. I know you're on the program now. You might not have. Send your family, send people, let people know that there is this thing going on. I'm going to monitor it on social media to see what's going on. So yes, we have these issues that we have to highlight, and we will continue to highlight issues. As I've said before, we're not into politics, but it's not about politics. That is not politics. That is the rule of law. That is you're appointing a man who admitted to committing a criminal offense, and the people who are there at the highest level in the judiciary, you cannot appoint them. So we're going to talk about these things as we go along. Now, I'm going to do the roll call very, very quickly, and then we're going to make the other announcements, and then we're going to move on. We scheduled the program this morning. I did just about 7 o'clock. And as soon as the program was scheduled at 7 o'clock, we have quite a few students jumped on, starting with Bandit from the hills. Then we had Tessa from Florida. Evelyn came on. Vibert came on. Then we had Wayne from the UK. Aubrey from Canada. Marlon. They all came on at 7. And shortly after, we had Lennox, Linden, Tom Cat is here. Kenneth, and Kenneth is from Maryland. Barbara is on. Vibert, Carlton, my squad mate, Courtney. Then we had, after that is Winston from California. You see him saying it there. Earl, Lucius, Mary, Gavin, Jake is here with us. Marcia. Yeah, it was Gebo, Leon, Magnell, Puran from Essequibo Coast. Denise, who is watching us from Guyana. Sean from upstate New York. Then it was, Brian, Francis Kit from Melanie is here. Walterine, Peter. Then it was Cecile. Anthony, the man from Peters Hall, is here with us. Gary. Then it is Daddy. Danny say he's enjoying us, watching us from Georgetown. Enjoy, my brother. Pastor Smith is here. Desiree from Georgia. Malcolm Clifton. Well, Pastor Smith came back. Princess Hall from Lamar Springs. Audrey. Audrey says she's watching in GT as well. Oh, Lord, everybody gone down to GT. Audrey, you're going to collect your cash grant? That going to stress you out, you know. Pauline is here. David. Michael, the man from Mbaimadai. All the way in the interior is here with us. Felicia. Orin from the UK. Eric. Diane. Wayne. Then it is, I think Wayne told me that he's also enjoying some vacation in Guyana. John. Annette. Patricia. Aubrey. Then after Aubrey, it is Clifton all the way from Paris. Evelina. Daniel is here with us from Linden. Patricia from New Jersey. Hazel. Diane. Derek Trott is here. Glendis. Queenie. Charlene is with us. Brenda. Clay. Ryan. Emerson. Grantley. Marcus. Lyndon. Carl, my squad mate, is watching from Arizona. Then it is Terrence from Canada, 9795. There, Arl, Dorette, Bonita, Raul, you're touring, man. Raul say he's watching from Underneaming. Underneaming, for you, those of you who don't know, is the Essequibo Coast. Well, they growing up, Underneaming was a bad word. Because when you're Underneaming, that's where the boys' school was situated. Underneaming. Then you have Clive from the UK. Vivian and his wife are here watching. Carl, Ian, TK is watching. I don't know where he's watching from. He was in Guyana for the holidays. I don't know. Heather is here. Pamela, Everett, George, Michael, Valerie, Sandra, Ainsworth, the man K12505 Mason is here with us. Then it is Stefan, Henrik, Henrik say watching from Brooklyn. Phil Umi is here with us. George, from BV. Bart Tilula is here. He said he's watching a cold Brooklyn, cold day in Brooklyn. Rayburn, Floyd, Gavin, Joan, Siobhan, Keith too vacationing in Guyana. Everybody gone down in Guyana to enjoy the good weather. Rhonda, Kevin, Royston, Sean, then it is Moses, Karen is here, Inferno Boss, Roxanne, John, Yanet. Then after Yanet, it is Cheryl Cheryl is from New Jersey, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Claire, Run the Lane, then I'm still in the house. Winslow is here with us. Then it was Carl, Nigel, Vernon, Fergus, Patricia, Gordon, Mandela, Karen, Cranston, 15837, Doreen, W349, my squad mate, David, Carville, Nigel, Smitty, 9464 is here with us, Desiree, Ovid, Sharon from the UK, Colin from Queens, Ivor, he says he's an old GNS man. He has his number, GNS number there. He's now watching from Tucker, Georgia. Dwayne, Kerry, Trevor, Carol, Raul, Semple, Valerie, Carlisle, Anthony, Sydney, Dion, Dexter, Sandrine Bade, Father Masha is here. The secretary is here with us. Dexter, Lyndon, Janella, Machu, Connolly, David, Eric Williams is here. Vanessa, Lyndon, Cornbread, my friend, is here with us. Ezra, Ronald, Ulrich, my squad mate, 9555. He's in Barbados. Salima, John, Jason, and look who's here. God Simpson, God is here. God is here with us. And then the last person was is Tuna Green, the last person on YouTube. And then we had Lennox, Edward, Carlton Popo, Lennox, Altia, and the list goes on. Ingrid, stay on, and the list on the book goes on and on and on. So welcome to you all, students. Welcome. And let me go into the announcements right away. First announcement I want to make, a sad one. One of our students, I understand, and she's on here now, I understand her husband passed away on New Year's Day. I'm referring to our student, Patricia Atterley. She's on here right now, and condolences to you, my dear, from my colleague. I'm sure he's going to express on his own behalf too, but we want to express condolences to you on the passing of your husband. May God give you the faith and the resilience to continue through this difficult time. And may you rest in peace and rise in glory. Now for the happier ones, birthday greetings today. We have retired Woman Sergeant Lorna Isaacs. Lorna used to be at traffic, and then Lorna was the secretary of the ex-police association when they had the office in the headquarters compound. Lorna was for W145. She's celebrating a birth anniversary today. And a man who many of you may not know, old police, John Ford. Can't remember 40 number, 84 something. John Ford used to be at the TSU, used to be at the sergeant and inspector bar or mess when he used to be by the seawall. There where you have CID headquarters there to the old CID headquarters, the CID headquarters compound, where you had the crime lab. Just to the west of those places, used to have the inspectors and sergeant mess, and Fordy used to run that place for a while. So he is celebrating a birthday today. We had belated birthday greetings to a very good friend of mine, retired Assistant Commissioner Eddington Tappin, had a birth anniversary yesterday, January 5th. Also yesterday, we had a birth anniversary of Keith Griffith. Keith had a birth anniversary yesterday. A very good friend of mine who I have not heard from a long time, Alonzo Britton, 8570. We were in the youth court together, and then when I became a special constable at Sparnam, he was there, one of the good police there, working in Quai's office. In them days, for you to work in Quai's office, you have to be good. You have to know to write, and you have to know policing work. And I met Alonzo there again after youth court days, 8570. Yes, he was coastman, and he celebrated a birthday recently. And also recently, I know Mr. Arobai, Mr. Basil Watson celebrated his birth anniversary yesterday. And tomorrow, January the 7th, is the birth anniversary of another dear good friend of mine. I'm referring to retired Deputy Commissioner Henry Chester. Henry is celebrating his birth anniversary tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity to wish all those who celebrated recently, who are celebrating today, and who are celebrating in the next few days, all the best on your anniversary. And may you be blessed with long life, happiness, prosperity, and care yourself. Keep caring yourself, my brothers and sisters. So those are the announcements that I want to make now. And let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to get a move on. CC, welcome to New Year, and welcome to Speaking Out in the New Year.
Thank you. Happy to be in the land of the living. Happy to see another New Year, 2025. My sympathy goes out to Patricia on the death of her husband. Birthday wishes to all those persons that you mentioned, including my dear friend Edison Tappin and one of my mentors, Henry Chester. I had a few old year's resolutions. Sometimes it's good to make resolutions, and part of it was that we should continue to not only educate but to inspire our students. Inspiration is a thing that we need to look at. Inspire them to do good. And part of my resolution, I remember, that if you make your resolution and you work towards it, you could very well achieve certain things. I remember in 1999 when I was with the FBI and doing management, and the facilities say, I want to hear what they would say about you. When you lie down in that casket, let me hear what they're going to read about you. Say for 5 points. I was a student and I didn't want to lose 5 points. He said, hey, if you don't want to write, don't write, but you lose 5 points. And I made some, I wrote my eulogy in 99. And now and again I speak it. Now and again I would amend it. And many of the things that I wrote in 1999, I achieved if you work towards it. And part of it, my eulogy, I died at 90. And I amended it recently. I said when I approaching 90, I will ask the Lord for 10 more singles so that I can score a century. And I'm sure you're gonna be with me, So I was saying, if you make a resolution and you work with them and you work furiously towards them, you could very well achieve them. You might not achieve everything, but sometimes you might, those that you achieve, maybe those are the ones that really matter to you.
Yeah, and coming back to chess, as we would call him, Henry Chester, one of my mentors too, persons from whom I've learned so much. I know it's a pity the politics, especially with this PVP government, is because of the politics. Mr. Chester Henry was never the commissioner of police because he was the man who should have replaced Larry Lewis. And that's a story for another time. But the politics is of such. It's the same thing all the time. They don't change. They don't change. They don't want competence. They don't want people who will stand up and say, well, look, this is not right, and I'm going to be professional. They want people who will do what they want them to do. And that is why the force has gotten to the stage where it's at reach. Because over the years, they have not been seeking to appoint people who are competent, people who are well respected. What they want yes men. And that is what you're getting. We're going to talk about that as we go along. That's what we're getting. But Henry was well qualified to be commissioner of police. A fantastic detective, well respected. Even now, well-rounded, well-respected officer. But that is how the cookie crumbles, and at the end of the day, the country suffers. Now, he was to make one other announcement. A student here, in terms of death, a student told me that his son, and I'm referring to Everett, his nephew was killed in a vehicle accident on last Thursday, and the driver on his way to work, and that is in New York, I think, in Queens. He was struck down, and the vehicle failed to stop and went. So condolences to Everett on the passing of his nephew in such tragic circumstances. Now, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Woman Inspector Lorelei Harper, who recently proceeded on pre-retirement leave after serving 37 years in the Guyana Police Force. 37 years of yeoman service to the force. And when I read the thing, I am reminded of the man who carried out the function of Commissioner Nigel Appy. Nigel Appy in 2020. Let me give you all this. It's not no joke, this is truth. I have all the documents. It might sound outrageous, but it is true. Nigel Appy, the man who carried out the function, when the government came into power in August of 2020, they recruited a man in the presidential guard, an old man in the presidential guard, right? He was 53 or something like that. So the man was recruited in 2020, August, promoted to sergeant in 2020, September. And in 2021, Nigel Appy carrying out the functions of Commissioner of Police, wrote him to tell him that he is to proceed on retirement the same year. So here it is. The man joined in 2020, August, promoted to sergeant in September, and in 2021, early 2021, you get a letter from Appy that he retired in 2021, having given 18 months of yeoman service to the Guyana Police Force. You can't make these things up. I have the letter somewhere in my records here. So when I read that woman inspector Harper is retiring after giving 37 years of yeoman service, that came to mind immediately. 18 months of yeoman service. A man recruited in the police force at 53, 53, presidential guard, there was in shock of people bringing in. He came in at age 53, August, promoted to sergeant September, right? Promoted to sergeant September, and retired from the force the next year. I suspect there was the extending the special constabulary or something. We got to tell you these things so you could understand what is going on. So congratulations to Inspector Harper on attaining this glorious milestone, being able to retire from the Guyana Police Force, being able to retire from the Guyana Police Force after 37 years of service. I discovered something over the weekend. I'm doing my research because I know as we come into the new year, 2025, normally all those people who would be retiring this year would have gotten the letter June 2024 to say that you're retiring in 2025. They're going to compute how many days pre-retirement leave you're to go on and the date that you're going to retire from. And the date is always fixed that you're going to retire from. It's a fixed date. Let me tell you how it happens. On the month that you attain your 55th birthday, well, of course, the spots are different. On the month that you attain your 55th birthday, you retire from the Guyana Police Force on the first day of the next month. So if you attain your 55th birthday in June, you retire from the 1st of July. If you attain your 55th birthday in July, you retire from the first day in August. That is how it is set. That is how it is set. But what happens? Very important thing I want you to note, that when you get that letter to say that you're retiring next year, that now is normally used for you to make an application to the Ministry of Finance to get an advance on your gratuity. So once you get that letter to say that you're retiring, you make an application to get an advance on the gratuity. I think it's 2/3 you just get. And the old police, they say you get it 2/3 and you're waiting for your next 2/3. You got a different match. You say you get it 2/3 and you're waiting for your next 2/3. So, and that is significant because once you get that 2/3 advance on your gratuity, in my case, I was able to pay off my student loan, pay some money on my mortgage, and all of that. And when you finally retire, you have to give some clearances and so on, and then you get, once you're satisfied that you're not indebted to any one of the police credit union or credit co-op society, then you are going to get your rest of money. But what I was shocked when I learned that facility that I referred to a while ago is only given to people from the rank of inspector up. So if you're retiring as a sergeant, and I saw recently some people like Lambert and these people are sergeant, you're not allowed that, and I wanted to know why. So if a person at the rank of sergeant or even corporal reaches the age to retire, and you get your letter to retire the next year, they're not giving you the advance on your gratuity. They're not. That is what I understand. And I would hope that if that is so, the police association, these are things that the police association should follow up and make representation for the ranks. They are supposed to make representation for welfare issues in the ranks. So I hope it is, well, I got it from a reliable source, but I'm saying that these things have to be followed up. Why are they not giving a sergeant, or even, well, not giving everyone, why are they not giving everyone who is to retire this advance on the gratuity? I don't know if there's a valid reason, but these things ought to be followed up to find out why. And this is not police, so this government. This is the government. Why are they not giving people that? And then the next disturbing piece of information that came to my attention recently is the people who retired. We're talking about the retroactive pay. I understand that the people who retired during last year, are told by the police finance office that they are not entitled to the retroactive pay. So in other words, you work from, let's say, January to June, and you retire from the force. An announcement is made that public servants, including policemen, are going to be given a retroactive payment, your back pay from the 1st of January 2024. It is said, I'm informed that the people at the police finance office are telling those people who retired early in the year, any time in the year, that they are not entitled to this retroactive pay. It's madness, because that too, the people, superannuation benefits and all that, whatever the thing, all the things that we computed accordingly. I don't know, because sometimes I think they say the last 3 years, or whatever it is, those people ought to be entitled to the back pay. They were working during the period of the retroactive pay. Because if you work from January to June, you retired in July, you can't tell them that because they retired then, they're not entitled to the retroactive pay that the government is giving from the 1st of January. Madness. These things have to be highlighted. These things have to be followed up. And again, I say that is what was related to me. I don't know how accurate it is, but I would think that people will follow it up and to debunk it, so to speak, to say that is not so. Once you work, you're going to get your money. So yeah, I want to highlight that. And I want to highlight that. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC, I know you would have listened to the congratulations, and you would have heard the explanation about this retroactive pay and so on. What are your views, my brother?
Yeah, I heard it recently, a guy retired in November, and they told him he can't get anything because unless your name is on the December pay sheet, you can't enjoy anything. It's alarming. Work up to November, but because your name not on the December payroll, you can't get anything. And then I'm surprised too, recently I heard too with these people who, from sergeant downwards, the last year when the number of people from inspector upwards will receive their 2/3, they didn't get anything. The sergeant downwards didn't get it. I think they need to the association and those bodies need to do something about it. But then the association they were politically installed, so they don't fight for anybody. I can't remember when last I heard them had a meeting, and so they I don't know what's going on with the association, but it was politically appointed, so they won't fight any case with the members of the force.
But they have a legal mandate to represent the welfare interests of members of the force, from constable all the way up to inspector. That is a legal mandate contained in the Police Act, Chapter 1601. Right? These are issues that they should really be taken up. But as I said, they were politically appointed, and it is self-interest, because I understand that all of the persons who were appointed during that illegal election have been promoted since, every single one of them. So they're looking after themselves. Every single one. They were led by the triple jumper. He jumped from inspector to superintendent, and others in that organization have all been promoted. So they got what they wanted. They got their desire. So they have they no longer have any interest in representing issues relating to the welfare of ranks. It is sad. It is very, very sad. Now let me move on. I saw that there was an issue, over the Christmas period, a lot of shooting, bandits shot dead, and all these type of things. I saw that a bandit, well-acclaimed bandit, dead some Chinese restaurant. They say bandit shot dead during robbery at Chinese restaurant, and this is in January. This is January 3rd. All these robberies, and we're gonna talk about that, but they're gonna tell you say crime rate down and all that. We're gonna explain that. And this was in on January 3rd, a couple of days ago. They say a suspected accomplice flees from the hospital. Hear what the report says, hear what the newspaper article says. A robbery made at a Chinese restaurant in Dennis Street, Sophia, ended in the death on Tuesday afternoon of one of the two bandits. The other suspect, identified 20-year-old, was wounded and later arrested, but managed to escape police custody while receiving treatment at the Georgetown Public Hospital. The Ghana police force is yet to issue an official statement on the robbery or the escape. The incident occurred around midday on Tuesday when the restaurant owners were in the process of installing a grill door as a security measure. According to source, the two armed bandits rushed into the establishment and demanded money. During the robbery attempt, a man who was inside the restaurant reportedly escaped and alerted both the authorities and the nearby Chinese at the nearby Chinese supermarket. One of the bandits was subsequently shot dead on the spot, while Duncan sustained injuries and was taken to police custody. Duncan later escaped while under police guard in the hospital. I say a police constable assigned to guard him has since been placed under close arrest. Now, not so long ago, they talk about a 17-year-old who was killed. I think that was in Arby Barker Street, robbing somebody, and he was killed. Let me make this point clear, because people tend to misinterpret what you're saying. I have no sympathy for anyone who go to rob and is shot and killed. No sympathy for him, no sympathy for the family. Let me understand it clearly. Once the shooting is justified. And I say, if you go to rob any place, you brandish any firearm, you pull gun to rob people, you pull gun to threaten people, and you're shot and killed, good riddance. Let me understand it clearly, good riddance. But we're saying that many, many times, some of these shootings are questionable. Not this one, I'm not talking about this general, I'm making a general statement. Many times, the shootings are questionable. And you want to find out what type of training these people in this firearm have. The one where the 17-year-old was said to be killed, it is reported that the security guard nearby, they went to rob a lady and her daughter were outside someplace. They robbed the phone and all this everything. Then the man was armed with a 9mm pistol with 15 rounds. And it is reported that the man discharged all 15 rounds towards the two bandits. He struck one and killed him, and the other one escaped. 15! The man shoot all 15. Well, right away, from a tactical perspective, that's totally wrong. You can't shoot all the rounds you get. So what if somebody else attack him after that? So again, we question the level of training. Now, talking about this one before I go into the next one, this man is arrested. The man is arrested, taken to the hospital for treatment because, whether you're a bandit, once you're injured, police have a responsibility to take you to treatment. And the man escaped from the hospital from the police. So I want to know what happened. The man wasn't handcuffed. If it is that he was, from the time he was arrested there, he ought to have been handcuffed, injured or not, he should be handcuffed. He gets to the hospital, he's treated. If he is admitted and put on a bed, he handcuffed him to the bed. If he wants to go to the bathroom, you got to call the police will then take him. So I don't know, they're going to tell you, I don't think they said they haven't given a release on this. But if they did, they're going to tell you that OPR investigated. That's the Office of Professional Responsibility investigated. That's all they say. I don't hear nothing much after that. OPR investigating, full stop. Right? But this policeman, and anyway, in this matter now, they're going to tell you that they're going to send a file to the DPP for legal advice. What legal advice? Let me give you all the advice. A man who is of rank who is put to guard a prisoner who is accused of robbery, and the prisoner escapes. I think it's section 4E4, I think. Section 4E4 of the Police Discipline Act, chapter 1701, says the offense is permitting a prisoner to escape. Let me repeat that. 4E4. I'm going to check it out. Section 4E4 say permits a prisoner to escape. Now, I know when I used to investigate matters and when I used to try disciplinary matters, the first thing I'm going to say, well, I didn't permit the man to escape. The permit is not, you're not going to give express permission. Because if you read the section properly, the section says by carelessness or neglect. Let me read that again. Section 4E4 says by carelessness or neglect, you permit a prisoner to escape. Straightforward. So I don't know what, there's no need for any legal advice on that. Those matters are dealt with at commander's level. You charge him, you endorse the charge sheet. You charge him and you endorse the charge sheet. And based on the circumstances he wants the charge sheet, he can be dismissed. If he was criminally negligent, you don't know, waste time to charge him criminally, to go to court and he can draw out and nobody can get the evidence, and then he interdicted, he get in half pay, and then after a while he come back in the work. No. Once you investigate and you find that the man was derelict in his duty, by carelessness or neglect, he permitted a prisoner to escape, a man who arrested for robbery, in which his accomplice was shot and killed, give you a breach of discipline notice. You're hereby informed that I'm investigating a report of breach of discipline made against you, in that you, on such and such a date or between such and such a time, you, by your carelessness or your neglect, you permitted John Jones, who was in custody for to escape. Then you're gonna go into the details and so on. Easy. Contrary to section 4E4 of the Police Discipline Act, chapter 7. You give a notice, you investigate, charge sheet endorse. Right? After that, after charge sheet is served, after 48 hours, he's made to plea. He plead not guilty, you get trial. You plead guilty, you deal with it. These things are easy and straightforward, but it is complicated for these people because, again, don't blame the ranks, because many of them have not been exposed to the type of training. I'm sorry I don't get to interact with you all now as I used to do and train you to how to investigate and how to conduct a disciplinary inquiry. Because as I've said now, Mr. Conway and I are person non grata. So that is what is going on. Man, arrest Bandit, man, arrested, taking the thing, and I hear that the man escaped while at the hospital. Slackness, see? Slackness. What are your views, my brother?
I don't have all the details, but as you rightly say, by carelessness or by neglect, you permit the prisoner to escape. But then sometimes I wonder, the rank who was detailed to get him, I wonder how long he was working for there, I wonder if he had any handcuff and all kind of thing. I wonder if he was visited. All sort of things that you need to think there. But then it's so sad when a prisoner, by carelessness or neglect, is allowed to escape. And as you rightly said, that is not a matter for DPP. There's a matter to deal with commander at the command level. The file got sent to DPP, and you don't have calling OPR to investigate. Simple, localized investigation and finish with it. But all sort of things happening. And like you two, we used to do disciplinary matters. We used to do training in terms of how to deal with disciplinary matters, but then they don't want us anymore. We're no longer welcome in environment. That's why we're using this process here to really enlighten people, to really inspire people.
Yeah, and you made a good point in terms of how long this rank would have been on duty, because, you can't jump to conclusion. I have been told, and I know we had the incident with the policeman who was sleeping at the minister advisor residence some time ago. The man was caught sleeping, video recorded sleeping. I think they said in the 18th hour of duty or something. 18th hour. And somebody reminded me over the weekend that sometimes ranks are on duty continuously. Armed persons Sometimes they're armed with assault rifles. They're on duty there for more than 24 hours continuously. Unbelievable but true. Unbelievable but true. Because these people are posted on duty. What they do, they carry little food for them. One man did complain that by the time if they cook things like chow mein, by the time the food reaches them, the things sour they can't eat. Many of these places don't have toilet facilities to the rank. They told us about a place in Cowan Street where the minister lives. And if you're taking shower, you want to go urine, or you want to defecate, there's no facility there for the rank on duty. People say that if it's in the night, well, then you're gonna go. You go on the tree outside, and as they say, you bust a leak. If it is for you to do number two, there's a garage nearby. You gotta go and beg them to use it. And if you can't get it, then you gotta walk all the way to traffic headquarters. Leave the post and walk to traffic headquarters to use the washroom. But I could tell you in my day, when anyone was to be provided with ranks, I used to be at the TSU. You used to gotta go and do a survey and inspection of the property. And if they did not have the type of facilities, some guard or within the premises, washroom facilities within the premises, they were going to be advised that they have to put those things in place before ranks are posted there, because you can't put ranks to work at place where if rain come down, they ain't got no place to shelter. If they want to go to urinate, police ranks in uniform got to peep on the road, and that is what they're talking about. Things like this, the police association should be looking into, because people complaining. Imagine a rank armed with an AK-47 or some assault rifle, and people are saying sometimes 24, 36 hours and more straight without any relief. They just carry the meals and they give it to you. Carry a little food with some water or something, give you. The people, the thing that I'm referring to was Ari Gill's resident. Ari Gill, who's supposed to be an advisor to the Minister of Affairs. God was working on this resident. God said the man there for over a day. And then it is alleged that Ari Gill recorded him, and somehow the thing ended up on social media. With the police sleeping on social media. And it is further alleged that at the time the recording was being done, the man had completed 18 straight hours of duty there. Heartless. How can you expect a man to be alert, upright and alert for all those time? And I said this based from experience as the man in charge of TSU and all these places. It is compromising the security of the very person who lives there. They should insist that no person should be there for that length of time, because what type of protection is being provided to you? What type of protection is being provided to you if you get a man outside your house with an AK-47 or whatever type of firearm, even if it's a revolver, and he has been there for 12, 14. And the police regulations still stand, that nobody should be on armed duty for more than 4 hours. 4 hours maximum. And then you got to rotate. That the guard is 4 on, sometimes 4 off, or 4 on, 8 off. That is how it's supposed to be. But people are being posted on duty for an unbelievably long time with firearm. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. CC, your final take on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you, that you need to look in terms of the hours the person performing duties. And I remember clearly the Harry Gill matter. Remember the answer, in excess of 18 hours. The might say, as you stay on your banger, you don't know when you would relieve. They have to have a better system. And the thing is, the longer you work, the more unproductive you become. The longer you work, the more unproductive you become. So they need to look at the thing totally, And perhaps that case where the prisoner escaping, maybe they can take it as a case study, and do as a training exercise. To a lot of things, a lot of lessons, and I believe are there to be learned.
Yeah, that phrase, "Who aren't bangan," was a TSU phrase by the 5798 Cummins, Daco Cummins. Daco used to say, "Who aren't bangan." Then Daco used to tell you, the Clive line. You get in a Clive line. You know what's a Clive line? It's a straight drive. You get in a straight drive. You get in a straight drive. And, because there was a time, and never them 24 hours and all of those type of thing. So now you have to work a double shift. Instead of the 4, you catch yourself. Sometimes people report sick, and there's some posts that you have to have a sentry. So you're catching a double shift. You hear the vehicle coming, if the sergeant coming to tell you that you got to work a double shift, right? And then you're guaranteed that at the end of that double shift, you're going to be relieved. But that don't happen now. That don't happen now at all. But that is what is being told to me, that unless they could find someone to relieve you, even if you're there for over a day, you have to remain there. How secure can that person who they're guarding be? But that is what you have. That is what you have. Now let me tell you about the next matter that I mentioned briefly on the last program last year. You were talking about this Quindon Bacchus murder. You can remember, it was in 2022. Bacchus was murdered by the police. Special branch led an operation. They said where this man had illegal firearm, and they set up a sting operation to catch him with the illegal firearm. And they claim that something happened there, and he was shot and he was killed. As a result of that, 3 policemen are charged. Matter still running before the court. The man who is accused of the murder he's committed to stand trial. There are 2 other ranks, one of them was never at the scene. I'm referring to the Sergeant Damian McLennan, never at the scene, but he charged with some fancy offense. And I understand that this man has gone to court since then about 26, 27 times. It's just go. In the meanwhile, for the time the man get charged and appeared on court on the 5th of July, 2022, the extended squatter. He's still extended squatter. He's a confirmed squatter now. Talk about Ikin. Dismissee. Unconstitutionally. This is a man who committing, I'm talking about the commissioner, Ikin, admitted to taking $8.5 million, which is a crime, in my view. Misconduct in public office, perhaps even worse than that. This is a man who has flagrantly violated the Constitution. He followed the president. In that, there was no presumption of innocence afforded to McLennan and Simon. The same day they appeared in court, on the 5th of July, I think it was, 2022, it can dismiss them from the same day. No right to be, no presumption of innocence and all of that. He violated the people's constitutional right in dismissing them. So, all right, man charged. So the family brought an action against the government. And when the matter came up before the judge, I can read the thing to you. I want you all to understand what's going on in this place, I want you all to understand what's going on in this place that is not a real place, Guyana. The judge awarded $22.5 million to the estate of Quindon Bacchus. The judge, Judge Niles, awarded $22.5 million. And we spoke about it on this program. And we said 22 days, no money, $100,000 for the loss of a life. And you will not be surprised to know that on December 29th, they got a report in, I think it's Syracuse. And it says, state appealing $22.5 million judgment in unlawful killing of Quindon Bacchus. The state is appealing that matter. And let me read what it says. The state has filed an appeal against the $22.5 million judgment awarded in an unlawful killing case, citing dissatisfaction with the ruling and its potential implications for future cases. The judgment stemmed from the fatal shooting of Quindon Bacchus, a 25-year-old father of one, by a police constable at Aslington, East Coast, Demerara, back in June 2022. The ruling was made last month by Justice Nigel Niles, after the state had accepted liability for the killing. Let me read that back. This ruling, this award of $22.5 million was made by the judge, but made last month after the state accepted liability for the killing. This article goes on. When asked for an update on whether the state is appealing the decision, Solicitor General Nigel R. confirmed during the Ministries of Legal Affairs year-end press conference on Saturday that an appeal has been filed with the Court of Appeal of Guyana. And quote, we felt that the judge went over where he was supposed to go in relation to the evidence. We felt that he did not take into consideration some aspects of the evidence. So we think that the matter is worthy of an appeal. We did accept liability. It's just that issue of quantum of damages we are dealing with, Hawk explained. He noted that the state has been ordered to pay a large amount of compensation, and as a result, the judge's decision should be reviewed by a higher court. Elaborating on why the state did not contest liability, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Landlal SC explained, we felt that the police officers were wrong, and there was a finding to that effect by the Police Complaints Authority. The Director of Public Prosecutions recommended criminal charges against the offending officers. Against that backdrop, quote, against that backdrop, we felt it would have been wrong for the state to contest liability. So we went to the judge and we said, look, the state is wrong. Let us deal only with compensation, end of quote. Nonetheless said that compensation has to be assessed on the basis of what is pleaded. Quote, the judge can't go outside of that. And we felt that the judge entered the arena and granted relief, granted measures of damages that were not before him, end of quote, he added. Citing the doctrine of precedent, the Attorney General explained, quote, if we are to leave that decision on the record, we believe that it would lead to a whole array of wrong decisions. For that reason, we have challenged the legality of the judge's assessment of the compensation, end of quote. Lance Corporal Christophe de Nagaba is facing murder charge in connection with Bacchus' death, while two other colleagues are facing charges with unlawful attempting to obstruct the course of justice. They said the Nabriga is presently awaiting a trial at the Demerara High Court. And then they go on to say the incident. Well, look, there's a lot of worrying thing about this incident. What I'm going to talk about before I bring in back my colleague. As it is said, the state admitted that they're wrong in killing this man. Police killed this man. They admitted that they're wrong. The judge awarded $22.5 million. They're contesting that is too much. They're contesting that is too much. So they got the appeal court, wasting taxpayers' money. Give the family them the money. And maybe it is too high indeed, because if you remember with the Madhya Dormitory fire, for those children who were killed, the parents was given compensation of $5 million. That is the worth of a life in Guyana. $5 million compensation for those indigenous children. So you have a man out the police shoot and kill. And here let me tell you some other worrying aspects of this matter. 3 men charged. There are others who were involved from Special Branch. Others who were involved, who actually led the operation and were integrally involved in this whole thing that resulted in this man death. They didn't get nothing happened to them, As a matter of fact, they got promoted. Let me tell you straight up, they got promoted. And when you look at it, this is not talking race, we're talking facts. The 2 men, or at least 2 of them who were not charged, Ramutar, and I think it's Posad, the next one in, Indians who were not charged. I know they're going to report it. Maybe they're going to tell the Ethnic Relation Commission. These are facts. These are facts. I saw the report. It was being circulated, where one of them actually tell this man, shoot him, empty. And they didn't get charged. They are not charged as accomplice, as accessory, nothing. And in the promotion that came out after, they are promoted. I think one was an inspector promoted to officer, one was corporal promoted sergeant. That is what is going on. How fair can that be? How fair? A man who ended up on the scene at all, Damian McLennan, they come with some cockamania story, but some casing, they found match some gun that he had or something like that. That is what they said. So he perverting the course of justice. That is what they say. How can that be right? And then further to that, hear what the Attorney General is quoted here saying. We felt that the police officers were wrong, and there was a finding to that effect by the Police Complaints Authority. The Director of Public Prosecution recommended criminal charge against the offending officers. Again, the Attorney General, listen to this carefully. The Attorney General, this is a matter before the court where a man is charged with murder and 2 others are facing, and the Attorney General can make a statement on the 29th of December, public statement, that they felt that the police officers were wrong, and there was a finding of that by the Police Complaints Authority. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how prejudicial that statement is? Yeah? Can you imagine how prejudicial that statement for matter that is before the court, murder charge, policeman charge of murder, 2 others charged, and the Attorney General of Guyana, Anil Nandlal, SC, MP, can make a statement, is reported in Starbuck News, as saying that we felt that the police officers were wrong, and there was a finding to that effect by the Police Complaints Authority. My God. And you think Guyana is a real place? You think that is such a in my view, I'm no liar. I was a police officer for 37 years, and I had the privilege of attending some good police training. But I'm saying that is a prejudicial statement that should never have been made by anyone, much less the Attorney General of the country. That the state said that the people were wrong. This matter, the thing has been tried. Their guilt is not determined as yet. And you can make such a prejudicial statement, anything, making such a prejudicial statement. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. I'm so upset over this thing, I'm so upset because this thing came out since around the 30th, and I ain't hear nobody, the Liars Association, and nobody can come out and point out that it is inappropriate for the Attorney General to be making comment like that on a matter that is before the court. And let me remind you all, in 2010 when I retired, I made some statements, and one of the statements I made was to say that I was disappointed that a police officer who had won a scholarship to go and do a master's degree in the UK was dismissed from the force for going and do a scholarship. And the then Attorney General, Charles Ramsey, sued me for making such a statement. Why? Because he said that the dismissed officer had challenged the matter, and the matter was before the court. The matter was sub judice, and therefore I should not have made that comment. Even though the legal people say there's nothing wrong with me making such a comment, I did not speak about the merits. I say I was disappointed. They sue me. Of course, the matter was subsequently dismissed. This is the Attorney General now making such a comment on a matter that is before the court. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. Let me bring in CC, your views.
You stole my thunder, man. I wanted to refer to the same matter where you were sued by the Attorney General. But then that's how Attorney Generals behave. Here is it where the state chuck in, admitted that the killing was unlawful, and now they're talking about quantum. Yeah? People lives so cheap. And then you have cases where people would sue, and then they get 10 million, they get 20 million, and much more than that. And here is the loss of a life, a father, yeah? and they contesting it. They contesting it, man. It's not right. And then the Attorney General is going to make statements. People that actually saying that people are guilty, and the matter before the court. You ain't saying, I ain't hear the word allege thing, but there's how the thing going, and you want to know if Guyana really is a real place. But then simple common sense would tell you, hey, that the stakes has got to be high. The compensation has got to be much more than an ordinary thing. Common sense will tell you that. But then common sense isn't commonplace. It isn't common in everybody, and it isn't even common in attorney generals.
Yeah. I sorry I told you, Tony, but I have to mention that to give it some context. So a defamation case, $10 million. Defamation, $10 million. And the loss of a life, what was the amount? 24 million or something like that. And the state is appealing 22.5 for loss of a life. And the state said that money too much for a man who was wrongly killed by the police. Can Guyana be a real place? Can Guyana be a real place? And let me tell you more about the same people, Because you recall there was an incident last year where they said that, well, it revealed that ran from the special branch. There was a report of a robbery at Vridenup, and the description of a car was given as perhaps being the escape car. And in the vicinity, somebody in the East Bank, ranks and special branch who were on duty there, saw a car fitting this description. And they opened fire on this car. Well, I still can't believe, because they claim, ropesmen say, they fired 88 rounds at this car. They did not hit the car, they did not hit the occupant, anything. The driver of the car drove to Providence police station, and the persons pursued him. And then when they arrived there, they discovered the driver was a police sergeant, a traffic sergeant. A traffic sergeant was the driver of the car that they fired 88 rounds. Somebody said, well, they fired blank and all that thing. And they were transferred, I understand, they were all transferred from Sister Branch. And notwithstanding the fact they were transferred, they were given all sort of cushy job and so on. The file, we were told that the OPR will investigate. That's the Office of Professional Responsibility. We were later advised that the file went to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and she advised disciplinary charges against, I think it was 5 of them who were involved. One of those persons involved was or is the driver of Watts, who was then the man in charge of Special Branch and recently promoted to Deputy Commissioner. It is alleged that Watts has been bullying the people who are dealing with disciplinary charges to make sure that the man who is driving it is not charged. So 4 people charged, and this one man, because he's a driver of what, that is what is alleged. That is what is alleged. The driver of what? That he bullying and threatening the officer and the inspector, them who are investigating, not to do anything to his driver, even though the Director of Public Prosecutions advised disciplinary action against them, even though that was advised. Then charge. And here what happened, something you can't believe, But I am advised, recently I was told, that one of the same men who was involved in the Quindon Bacchus killing, the man who was involved in the 88 wrong shooting at East Bank, I think he was transferred to TSU or Commissioner Office or somewhere there, right? The man was recently transferred from TSU or wherever he went at headquarters. The man was recently transferred. My information is recently transferred. You know where? The man was transferred to Alberton Police Station as a detective sergeant. And hear this. This man from Special Branch, who was involved in this blotched operation that killed Bacchus, who was involved in this operation that shoot up 88 rounds at this traffic sergeant, Sergeant George, Sergeant Payne, the thing with Sergeant Payne. Transfer based on the furrow that came out from that, they were all transferred. The commissioner office or somewhere they send them. Right? DPP advised that they must be charged departmentally. The dunking and tinging and the ducking and the thing. Right? Then the man now, I understand, has been transferred to Alberton Police Station as a detective sergeant. A man who, the information at my hand, the man never investigate the matter. This man never write a report. This man never gave evidence in court, but he's a detective sergeant at Alberton Police Station. You think this thing is a real place? You think Guyana and the police force and the talking us other thing about the police force, this academy and the best police force in the Caribbean, you think it's easy? The man is detective sergeant. That is the information that came to hand. I know they're going to investigate now as to who passed this information on to Sloan Conway. But that is what's been reported. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, that is what is being reported. Can you imagine that, CC?
Yeah, well, it's just, we say, they promoting incompetence. Dr. Peter, principal. Dr. Lawrence Peter, the resurrecting, bringing back on stream. And that's how the thing going. That persons don't have no ability and they're putting them in position. Imagine a man with no kind of training in detective work. Huh? No. He never go in court and gain evidence. Understand, he never take a caution statement yet from anybody. And he's a detective. in charge of a station, a, 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 a station district that they have a serious host of the crimes where crimes are prevalent, But there's a guy in the police force. There's a guy in the police force.
Let me address the issue, CC. I see they send them on. Let me student look what is being there. Somebody name Brijnath Shivdarsan. He's saying, so why you cannot say that Norton is corrupt? I know which Norton he talking about. But let me tell you this, whoever you be, that we don't make allegations here without evidence. If you have the evidence that anyone, including whoever you call Norton, is corrupt, then you must provide the evidence to the police. Jack the other says so. Jack the other said, bring the evidence. When you talk about corruption, he said, bring the evidence. And it would appear as though this forum is not a forum for you. So let me wish you goodbye for the new year. Let me wish you goodbye. And we don't come here with them type of nonsense. If you know that somebody is corrupt, provide the evidence. And let me say this to you. I don't knock you. Well, let me say this to you further. I am sure that if you were to provide evidence to the extended squatter, to the crime chief, to Jack Dio, or any one of them about anybody, they're not, but anybody who is associated with any opposition party as being corrupt, oh man, they would love to pursue that. They would love to pursue that. When we talk about corruption, these are some of the things that we refer to. Let me show you what we're talking about. Thing like this.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
When we talk about corruption, I think that's what we're talking about. For those of you who don't know, there's an interview, Vice News, where they were where they're saying the allegation was Su Jurong, the Chinese man, saying he's the middleman, and the vice president who we just saw, that's the allegation, takes $500,000 from Chinese businessmen, $500,000 US as a facilitator. The video is recirculating. I urge you to look at it and assess for yourself. And no investigation. That is same thing, I think, 2021 or sometime around, 2022, no investigation. So you come here on my program, you tell me about Norton. You know it's Norton you're talking about, but any Norton, whether it's Norton or Salt. So carry the evidence to them, man. Carry the evidence to them with corruption, and I'm sure they will gladly investigate, even though they don't want to investigate the Sugate allegation. They're going to investigate the one. But I'm sure if you carry evidence to them about others being involved, they will gladly deal with it. XXX4, we don't deal with roaches. Once the roaches come out, we turn on the light and they scurry away. We turn on the light and they scurry away. When they come with whatever disguise they come, that is what we deal with. We ain't spraying nothing. Because if you spray, they say the spray and so on can affect the environment. And no, we not spray. We just step on them and let them go the way. We step on them and let them go. I said this again, that unless and until that allegation against the vice president is properly investigated by a credible source, the stench of that will be with him all the time. So every Thursday when he come there and he talk, it's only that you have some docile people in the media, they don't ask the right questions. Because if I were part of that, every time he come, I'm going to ask you, what's the position with this Sugate allegation? Every time he comes, I'm going to ask him. He said he sue for some 50 million and all of that, and he couldn't find Sue to serve, and then eventually they said it was served, but you hear nothing more about that. You hear nothing more about that. Damning allegation. The worst, in my estimation, the worst allegation of corruption made against any politician in the history of Guyana. That is it. And they never investigated it. It has not been investigated. So, Mr. Whoever you are, reel and come again. Reel and come. Let me bring in CC for him to have his say on that, and then we're gonna move on. CC, let me hear what you got to say about that, man.
Well, you quite rightly, take him off, that we ain't get time for waste of them things. If you get the evidence, like carry it to these people there, man. And who would not need talking about? Let them carry whatever we get to his relevant people so that they could deal with it if they want to. That shouldn't be, we shouldn't really tolerate them kind of people from the program, man. Mash them.
Yeah, but I'm tolerating, I'm tolerating them nonsense. That's the wrong program, Ian. You gotta go on the program. There was a program this morning, and I got called. So I didn't see it. Let me make this disclaimer. I didn't see the program. But a man called me this morning to tell me that he listened to Critic this morning. And Critic, he got a guy named Antonio, Indian guy named Antonio, does make comments, and he attacking the government policies and so on. And he comes across. I saw something with him, I think it was last night or sometime, where he talking about Critic, and he get very personal about hygiene and all this everything. I'm gonna repeat them thing them now. But this morning, the man told me on Critic program, Critic is saying that the same guy, you know that the guy smuggles item from Brazil and all of that. And the man tell me, as I say, I didn't hear it for myself, but it was reported to me that Critic said that he would instruct the GRA and he would instruct the police to deal with this man. That is what is being said. It was told to me. You can go and look at it for yourself. I ain't gonna look at it. But it is reported to me this morning that Critic said on this show this morning that Critic would instruct GRA and instruct the police to deal with Antonio. And the man want to know where's Critic get them powers from. So I said, why? This guy, you're there in Guyana, and all sort of thing does happen in Guyana. All sort of thing happens. Let me move to the next subject. The next subject is another shooting again. Another shooting. That was a few days ago. Lesbian, Blackbush Polar. Businessman arrested for fatally shooting cane harvester. In case you all know, long ago we used to call him cane cutter. I have nothing derogatory against cane cutter. So, people just jump on this thing. I used to cut cane, let me tell you all that. I used to cut cane. My father was one of the largest peasant cane farmers on the East Coast. And I grew up in the Baghdad really. I used to cut cane June, August month and so on from school. I used to go there. I used to burn cane. I used to cut cane. I used to shovel trash. I used to clean drain. I know the thing. Y'all might be surprised. And I knew how to sling punt and all this everything as a young teenager. So when I talk about a cane cutter, y'all don't come by me funny. Y'all don't come by me funny. This is something I know. I grew up in that cane cutting. All right, there's a born cane. Cause in back in the day, I used to do the thing as a teenager. The old man decided, well, this couple bed, you gotta you're cutting this here. The first thing you gotta go and do, I used to go Triumph or Manipo at an Indian man named Gundu. So Kali Gundu, he was the man you gotta go and book your punts. You want so many punts, because the punt used to come on a Sunday. Then we used to burn the cane, but even before you burn the cane, you have to make the fire part. Because some of your wasn't be your cane beds, as we used to call them, might not be alongside, it might be alongside others. So you got to make the part so the fire don't escape from your bed and go and burn other people's cane. So you got to open water, all of those things I know. All of those things. So I grew up in the country and I know things. So when I talk about businessman arrested for fatally shooting cane harvester, and I say to you that long ago we used to call him cane cutter, is the same thing. They're just, I guess now they're being politically correct, cane harvester. And Kaichon News is reporting that a 65-year-old businessman from Borbies is in police custody after allegedly shooting and killing a 29-year-old cane harvester at a bar in Lesbi Olen, Blackbush Polar, Quarantine Borbies on New Year's Day. The deceased, identified as Chetram of 19 Alness Quarantine, was shot around 10 o'clock at the bar operated by businessman Mooney Ramnarine of Lot CZ14, Lesbi Olen, Blackbush Polar. Ramnarine, a licensed firearm owner of a 32 pistol, and they got his serial number and all sort of thing, reportedly confessed to the shooting. According to the police report, the altercation began when an argument occurred among several patrons at Ramnarine's beer garden. The businessman told police that the dispute escalated when Chetram and others started breaking bottles and threatening each other. The businessman said, and the quoting here, the businessman said he attempted to close his gate when Chetram and another man threw him to the ground, injuring his elbow. While on the ground and allegedly being threatened with bottles, Ramnaran said he discharged 2 rounds from his firearm, striking Chetram, who collapsed outside the bar. Ramnaran then secured, Ramnaran then secured his business, reported the incident to the police, and surrendered his firearm and license. Upon police arrival, they recovered 2.32 caliber shells, one inside the shop and one outside near the gate. Chetram was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead and so on. Again, earlier we said it, license, too many guns in the tongue. Too many guns. And in many cases, in the hands of untrained people. I don't know the circumstances, but the question is going to be asked, was this businessman's life threatened at the time? Was he justified in shooting this man? And then the police saying that he said he fall on the ground, he shoot while he down on the ground. But one casing is found in the shop and one outside. Excuse me. So let somebody pick up this one or put it out there. Circumstantial evidence is suggesting that it might have been fired from in the vicinity of where the casing was covered. These things call for proper investigation. These things call for proper investigation. Because again, I say, if the life of the businessman was threatened, then he would have had justification in shooting. And let me tell you all this. Let me answer this question to a lot of people raising it from time to time. Because when you read the comments in the newspaper, people saying, yeah, you should shoot in the foot, you should shoot in the hand. I don't know about that. I don't know. I know that once, if you are threatened and you have to resort to the use of your firearm, it means that your life must be in danger. And if your life is in danger, the training is that you shoot to eliminate the danger. You shoot to eliminate the danger. So I don't know the circumstances. I hope that a proper investigation is done so that justice can be served. When you read the story, the man, 29, wife, get, I think, 3 children. They got the thing in the paper here. They got the age of the children and so on. Man is the breadwinner. Man is dead. Man dead. Wife and children there left now from all indication to suffer. And you need to make sure that this matter is properly investigated and this family is given the justice that they deserve. And again, the whole system has to be examined. Issuing a firearm, training of these persons having firearm. And I said it before, and I'm repeating it here for emphasis, and I dare anyone to challenge me. A large percentage of people going around with firearm, including policemen or including people in uniform, they are not adequately trained to use the firearm. Take it from someone who was a firearm instructor, who had a reputation as a marksman, because I know for shoot. I know what I'm talking about. They are not properly trained. Question, telling Robeson men, and they will even want to know question for us. But send around people with a little expertise to do a survey of these people walking around with guns. They are no training. That the training is not adequate to be carrying around assault rifles and all that. It's a frightening thing to move around Georgetown. Man with shotgun, man with assault rifles and all of these things. It is a miracle that more people, innocent people, are not shot and killed. Look at the incident that I referred to with the 17-year-old on Harvey Barker Street. This security guard discharged all 15 rounds from the Glock pistol that he was armed with. Was that reckless? I don't know. But it's to me, if you fire 15, one man shot and killed at the Bandit, and people who are in the area and nobody else get injured, that got to be a miracle, because there's no indication he fired it in the air. He fired it at the Bandits. 15, the man emptied the whole magazine at them. Again, I say, it is clear that these people going around with firearm, businessmen, everybody's a businessman. I see one of the men who get killed is a mason. Well, the definition for mason now in Guyana is that once you push sand or you fetch cement, you're a mason, you know. You don't have to have the technical skill to lay brick and lay blocks and all this type of thing to be classified as a mason. If you're mixing cement, you're fetching sand, and you're fetching cement, you are a mason. That is what is going on. So in terms of businessman, you got a sweetie stall or swan, you are a businessman. You are a businessman. So you apply for, and you go to those places that Mr. Conway would normally talk about, and you pay the appropriate fee, and you get a firearm. Depending on what you can afford to pay, that will determine what type of firearm you are going to get. It is there, clear as crystal. And they're not doing anything about it. They're not doing anything about it. Don't bring him, Mr. Conway. See, this Blackbush, this worrying Blackbush thing, man. What are your views?
Well, for me, that you gotta do some proper investigation, you know. Go back to the roots. Because I always ask the question, did he pay $1.5 million? Did he get it from Shift Chanjapal Drive? Did he get it from Young Street? Did he get it from a house in Rob Street? Did he get it from a building northwest of the Brickdown police station? Or did he get it from a doctor? a medical doctor from Lamahar Street? And then, what about the training? What kind of training did he have? What kind of training? I don't know the type of training, because we have to use when you may fire. Force Order 33 of 69 that was republished several times, when you may fire. And the number one thing is, when you're attacked and you are praying serious danger to your person and you are unable to defend it by yourself by any other means. I repeat, when you're attacked and you are praying serious danger to your person and you are unable to defend yourself by any other means. You mentioned, Paul, that you have to eliminate the threat. And people could shoot. People could shoot with deadly consequences as long as it is justified. Perhaps in one of these episodes, we may need to talk about use of force, including deadly force, you know. Those are things that we used to train the police on. Use of force, including deadly force. So the Blackbush shooting calls for a lot of investigation. But then again, it will be the police investigating the police.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We got maybe at some stage we're gonna address use of deadly force, because as I've said, and most people who know me, a lot of people here, Rohan and them, a lot of people, and they know me when I used to be a firearm instructor, firearm and drill instructor. People know. More latterly, people know me as a national marksman and all that. So I know something, and maybe we can pass it on, because it would appear as though, as I've said, the problem to me starts with the people who are supposed to be the trainers. They themselves lack the appropriate knowledge. And I have proven that. It's not a false or just a malicious allegation I'm making. I had cause to quiz some of the people there who are supposed to be firearm instructors when I was there in the seat of operations at the police headquarters. I had cause to quiz them, and I recognized then that they did not possess the knowledge that they ought to have to be instructors. And I tried to fix the system. I know them things don't happen now. People just come around and assign to do things, and the people are not properly trained. The people are not properly trained. Now, let me. One of the main issues that I identified is about this promotion. I'm gonna talk about it, but I gotta talk about something else first. There was a fatal accident. There's a fatal incident where, I think it was yesterday or sometime, a motorcyclist rode into some median along the East Bank, and he died. Now, when you read the release that the police gave, it's a little confusion. It's a little confusing as to which direction the man is going and so on. So a man asked me to explain. I said, "But I can't explain. There are some things you cannot explain." And how the thing is conveyed, this propaganda unit, they have their calling from the police, something you can't explain, right? And let me give you all a joke so you can understand what I'm talking about. And remember, this is a joke. This is a joke. A farmer, there was this farmer who they say was milking his cow. Now, country people know what milking cow. I milk cow. You get it. Usually you get your bucket, you lock the bucket between your knee or rest in the ground, and then you clean the nipples and so on, and then you milk. So this businessman was milking the cow, and the cow took one of the foot and jammed down the bucket just as he started. So he took a piece of rope. Country people know this. He tied and stabilized the one foot, the back foot we're talking about, one the back legs, so that the cow can't kick. The cow, he started again, the cow took the next foot and kicked down the bucket. So he had the next piece of rope, he tied the next foot. So both feet are tied now. And then as he started to milk the cow, again, the cow kicked down, the cow took his tail and licked down the bucket. So looking around, he ain't get no other rope to tie the tail. So what he did, remember, the premise of this joke is some things you just can't explain. So he took off his belt and he tied the tail of the cow up to prevent it from eating the milk. And as he stood up, his pants fell down, and his wife walked into the barn at the same time. And they say some things you just can't explain. So this, I want to use imagination. Cow right foot tie, left foot tie, and the tail tie up, and the farmer behind the cow with his pants down. Some things you just can't explain. So for the man who asked me to explain this accident, again, I say some things you just can't explain, right? Some things you can't explain. But then we come to one of the main subjects. And share the life. We have good attendance, but continue to share. Don't be stingy. Continue to stare. And if you look carefully at the bottom of the screen, you will see the information being scrolling across there. For those of you who would like to make a contribution to the upkeep of this program. As a matter of fact, today I get a bill from the platform. I get a bill from the platform today. So a lot of people have made contributions, and I thank you very much for your generous contributions, and we look forward for your continued support. For those of you who are in the UK and elsewhere and say that you don't have to Zelle and Cash App, we have set up PayPal. You get PayPal now, and I'm going to let you know how you can make your contribution through PayPal, those of you who want to do so. But continue to share, man. Continue to share. Let me give one of the sweet ones now. I hope you found everything sweet, including the last joke. Somebody said, nice one. You need more of that. I get enough, Those of you who know me, I get enough. But I thought that one would have been appropriate this morning because of my friend who asked me to explain what the police were saying in this accident. So some things you just can't explain, right? Now, coming to this anticipated promotion. On the last program, I told you when I looked into the crystal ball, I saw that they were going to make promotion. They're still going to make promotion. I said to you then, it's still been shown in the crystal ball, that many of the persons who are going to be promoted are people against whom, criminal allegations have been made. People who are incompetent. They get records of their incompetence. Not just people alleging them that they're incompetent. Record of them being incompetent. They are going to be promoted. That's what the crystal ball is saying. They are going to be promoted. And you should not be surprised because the man who is now commissioner of police admitted, this is not an allegation made against him, he admitted that he took $8.5 million from a named businessman to finance the wedding of Calvin Brutus in November of 2023. He said so in a statement. He said so. And I said that is misconduct in office. So he got promoted. He misconducted himself in office. He violated the Constitution and he got promoted. So you should not be surprised if others who have allegations made against them are promoted. Because what the current Police Service Commission did some time ago, all those persons who had pending disciplinary matters against them, just before they promoted in 2022, they just said they dismiss all the matters. No trial, no investigation. They just dismissed. So I suspect they might take the same line. All those who they believe get allegations, who have pending disciplinary matters, with a stroke of a pen, they can dismiss all those matters and promote them. That is the level of incompetence and corruption you have in the system. But the promotion occur. Well, let me tell you what I understand. Sweet. I understand that the squatter, as is customary, at some stage, remember you have provided a list recommended to the Police Service Commission back sometime last year, around May, June, and the thing was leaked on social media. And part of the thing that he said, that they had this meeting with senior people to make this recommendation, and our investigation showed that one of the named person, one of the officers who was supposed to be at that meeting, was out of the country at the time. So it was a false document he sent, where he did not find favor at certain quarters. So what happened? We understand that they sent a list. The force sent a list of persons recommended to be promoted, which is not unusual. Because that is what happens. I, as the chairman of the Police Service Commission, then we initiated the movement, the process that we wrote to the commission, to the commissioner, and said, we want to have persons, we want you to recommend person by a given time. When we did so in 2020, they couldn't meet the deadline. They asked for Butas, was the admin man, asked for extension, that was granted. They sent the list to us. We vetted the list, prepared the short list, and I got through there now and know what happened. So them sending a list of persons recommended to the commission is not anything new. That is how the process works. Now, my understanding is that the commission met, and the commission went through the list, and the commission sanitized the list, and the commission decided on persons who are to be promoted from inspector to assistant commissioner. And the commission then went ahead, and the commissioner sent the list and said, these are the persons promoted. I understand that that did not find favor with the squatter. So he complained to the people in my area. So he sent this list, and the people changed the list and sent some people. So everything got on to elsewhere. The list went elsewhere. And mind you, and I'm going to ask Mr. Conway to explain this, according to the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, it is the Police Service Commission that has the responsibility to promote from the rank of inspector to assistant commissioner. No commissioner, no president, no prime minister, no minister of affairs. There's no role for them in that. None whatsoever. None. And I can say that because that is where my trouble started. Because when the president wanted people promoted and his people to be promoted, and our commission said, no, these people are not eligible for promotion. They trumped up charges and then they come after me. They came after me viciously. That is how we started. So we get back to the stage now where the constitutional body, the Police Service Commission, approved of promotions. But again, because they have an incompetent secretary and they don't know what's going on, nobody to advise them, they find themselves in a quandary. But let me tell you all again. Let me tell you all. Police Service Commission is the constitutional body. I'm going to ask Mr. Conway to read the Constitution to you all in a short while. Once they say you're promoted, nobody can change that. Nobody can change that. We made the point on the last program about how they mess up. Some people how they F up the dates. Everybody who get the deputy commissioners, all them commission everybody 19th of December. Wrong. You have to, when you promote people to replace. So in the case, let me repeat it for emphasis. In the case of the deputy commissioner, one had to replace a deputy commissioner that retired. A second one, the same thing. The third one, the same thing. The fourth one. And the fifth one, because there were only 4 at that time, appointed from a current date. And it affects people down the line because what's going to happen now? What dates, when you promote these assistant commissioners, what date are you going to give them? You got to give them the same 19. The thing is messed up. They mess it up. And I said there is a way they can deal with it. There's nothing wrong with revisiting it. And I understand too that because we talked about the dates and so on, they're rushing now to make sure they can put date and they can get the right date. They also, but the people they have there are not competent enough to do that. Let me tell you straight up. They lack the competence to do that. And let me tell them further before I bring Mr. Conway. There is no need, when you if you're the police service commission, you sit and you decide on a list of persons to be promoted. Normally it comes out when we say earliest day. There's no pressing need to put the dates of the appointment at that time. I mean, I did it, put the dates and so on because I had the competence and I had the knowledge and I did the work. But there's no need to put the date when you sit down and you prepare. On quite a few occasions in the past, the promotion list will go from the Service Commission to the police force. The people will get a letter. It will be published, and they will tell you that the date will be announced at a later stage. So when they sit down now and they work out all the correct dates, then they put that in the official gazette. That is now published in FOSADA. The effective date, reference FOSADA, so. Normally there's a special order, so dated 31st of December, or if they bring it 1st of January, reference special order 1 of 2025, dated 1st of January 2025. These are the effective dates of the various promotions. Now you put it, that can come, sometimes it come in February, sometimes it come in March, late January. It can come at a later time. So I don't know, they're holding up this thing because Slow and Conway talking about it, and they feel they're under pressure to try to get it right. But you know, the president talk about unity and the forces demoralized through all of these things. Because I hear too that one of the problems on the list, one ethnic group dominates. That's what has been said. So let's wait to see what will happen. One ethnic group of unqualified people dominates. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for them to get some batin. CC, tell me about this constitution thing and so on, man.
All right. I have the constitution before me, and I don't want to say Paslow say or Conway say. So let's go. Article 212.1. I'll read it. Subject to the provision of Article 211.1, the power to make appointments to any offices in the police force of or above the rank of inspector, the power to exercise disciplinary control over persons holding or acting in such offices, and the power to remove such persons from office shall vest with the Police Service Commission. So this article telling you, Article 212.1 telling you that the powers to make appointments, to express, to display control, and removal of office lies with the Police Service Commission, not the president, not the Home Affairs Minister, not the squatter, whether he acting or extended or conformed, but with the Police Service Commission. And this section 3 saying the power to make appointments to any office in the police force below the rank of inspector, the power to exercise disciplinary control over persons holding or acting in such offices, and the power to remove such persons from office shall vest with the Commissioner of Police. So from inspector downwards, sergeants downwards, it is the Commissioner of Police. But when you're dealing with inspector upwards, it is the Police Service Commission. The Police Service Commissioner has the power and no one else. And that's why, Paul, as you had mentioned, that we run into problem. When the president had wanted us to promote Karim Bash, Brutus, Shiv Prasad Bacchus, Prem Narayan, Jupiter, and others who had disciplinary matters pending, and we said no. He was advised by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General to suspend us after giving us bogus charge. And We didn't take it like that. Through you, Paul, we went to court and we challenged the decision. And Justice Gino Posar ruled that the president's action is unconstitutional, null and void, violates ultra-vires the Constitution, and have no legal effect. So, I'm repeating, the Police Service Commission is the only authority to deal with appointments, to deal with disciplinary control, and to deal with removal from office. That vested in the Police Service Commission and no one else. So what they're doing, and if the Police Service Commission say they promote X or Y, the conform squatter can't challenge that. The president can't do anything about that, because the act is clear. They say shall, and shall is a command. According to the legal, shall is command, shall vest with the Police Service Commission. They have the authority. They have the authority. In our days, before we took over as the members of the Police Service Commission, the list used to go to Home Affairs and other places, and we said, no. From the commissioner straight to us, members of the Police Service Commission, the president ain't got nothing. And remember that the Constitution is the supreme law, and any law or any organizational issue and anything that you want to do, got to fall within the ambit of the law. The law is the supreme authority. The Constitution is the supreme authority, and the president can be removed from office if he breaches the Constitution or commit any act, any other act. So the thing is that what is going on there is I really can't fathom what's going on there, because it is the Police Service Commission that has the authority to appoint, to promote, and to remove from office. So if they're trying political interference, and if you have a weak Police Service Commission, well, the Service Commission was installed, so they're going to take orders from the president, as the case may be. So we're saying that it is the Police Service Commission, and the Constitution is the supreme authority, and any regulation you make and anything you do that is run contrary, that collides with the Constitution, has got to bow down to the Constitution. It's got to be fatal. It's a fatality, not like how they're saying a fatal incident or a fatal accident. It's a fatality, and the Constitution is the supreme law. We're not in North Korea, where the leader there is the supreme leader. There's no supreme leader in Guyana. The Constitution is the supreme law, and if you breach it, if the president breach it, he can be removed from office. But it's a big long drawn up process to remove the president. There's where you have to have a 2/3 majority, and if you want to amend the Constitution, you gotta get 2/3 majority. And now to get a 2/3 majority, you might gotta get a couple of charandas, and only charandas, some Kazip might gotta flow. And I'm talking about Kazip from Pomeroon or the Northwest. I'm talking about Kazip from Cayuni, Mazaroni, Putaro, those gold mining area. That Kazip would have to flow.
Yeah, Kashif, I put up this comment by one of the students asking the question, why didn't the persons who were deliberately being overlooked for promotion don't challenge the PVP in court? Well, the PVP, they got challenge the PVP in a sense, because let me remind you, students, that when we prepare that shortlist in December of 2020 for the promotion, Brutus led a team of officers that went to court to challenge a shortlist. We created a shortlist for further consideration. And Brutus said in a court document that the shortlist was leaked to him by a confidential source at the Police Service Commission. That's in an affidavit. Now, once that was leaked to him, all the evidence suggests that the president became aware of it. They challenged it in court, it run, the talk, all that other thing. one of the things that they were saying in several matters, they claim that once it has been traditional that once the police commissioner or the police senior management submit a team, submit a list of persons to be promoted to the police service commission don't ever change it. I tell you, what rubbish is that? That's what they argue in court, They don't change it. They go, let's go with it. So they were saying that the police service commission was a rubber stamp. It's not so. It has never been so. Never been. And there are examples. But let me give one. When Aiken was promoted to assistant commissioner, he was not recommended by the police force. They put in the name in Rap Street and Breakdown. They put in the name and took out the name of an officer, qualified officer who was recommended. And the man challenged it in court and won, because when the evidence was, when the Attorney General's chambers was confronted with the evidence, they chucked in. They did not contest it. They said that the whole thing was wrong. All right. So when the challenge was dismissed, challenge Barbara Butas was dismissed on the 28th of June, 2021, the Police Service Commission went ahead and released the list that was being held up since December the 31st, 2020. The list, we released the list. On the night of June 29, 2021, Anil Nandlal, Attorney General, on his program Issues in the News, went there and boldly stated the government is not recognizing the promotions that were made by the Police Service Commission. He says so, it's there for the record. All right. The matter went through the court, I challenged it, the decision to suspend the commission, and eventually the judge ruled that the president acted unlawfully, unconstitutionally, ultra-virus, in direct contravention of Article 225, all them things the judge said. All these things. And in other words, what the judge said, that the president acted illegally, and therefore the Police Service Commission for all intent and was never suspended. So all the promotions that were made by that Police Service Commission were valid promotions. And today, like today, the 6th day of January 2025, the government has not recognized those promotions. A lot of people retire without getting the just benefit. A lot of ranks still serving and at a lower rank than they are supposed to be. So therefore, they have not been given the and today, like today, and they talk about rule of law. The attorney just say, oh, we're going to appeal. But that is the standard thing. There could be appealing the Quindon Bacchus thing. Want something, you can appeal. And what has happened to those appeals? You can appeal. DPP is the same thing. Over 1 year now, the magistrate dismissed the conspiracy to commit fraud and misconduct in public office against some officers. And until now, DPP right would say she can appeal. Over a year now. Me know what happened if she appeal, but those persons are still interdicted. And it might not be coincidental that the persons who are interdicted are of a particular ethnic origin. And you had case where a man charged for sexual offense, they didn't interdict him, then with pressure, he get interdicted, and within a few months, the matter done, he come back in the work. And over a year, and you think this thing is fair? So I say that to say that is for those people to challenge. They sit back and they have not challenged this thing because they should have been wearing, some people soft, because if I were in their position and I am promoted to a superintendent and they fail to recognize it, when the time came and the judge ruled that the action by the president was unconstitutional, I did wear my thing, man. I did sign him a name, all the superintendent and everything. Let it do what I want to do. I did sign him a name, all of that, everything. That is what you have. I maintain that the force has to be reformed. But I maintain with people like this squatter there, you can't reform, no force with them. You get senior people against whom serious allegations of corruption and even other criminal activities are made. And they're there on there. How are you going to reform an organization with people like that inside? How are you going to reform? How are you going to reform an organization? How are you going to solve the problems when they're not admitting that you have a serious problem? And here I'm referring to a statement by the president on the 31st of December when he gave his end of year press conference. He had an end of year press conference, and I understand they went into what is the place name? They went somewhere and they found Kit Nascimento to moderate the thing. And the president made a statement where he said, I got the lowest number of major crimes recorded in 2024. That's what again, if you do not admit that there's a problem, then you cannot find solution to the problem. So they're not admitting that in the traffic management there's a problem. They come to tell you they're making a distinction now between traffic accident and traffic incidents. So even though people are dying on the road, some are accidents and some are incidents. Let me read. I want to read something here to y'all about what a traffic accident is. Hold on, one moment. Here was the definition. According to definition, a traffic accident is an unintended event that resulted in injury, death, or property damage while a vehicle is in motion or ready to move on a roadway. Let me read it back. They say a traffic accident is an unintended event that resulted in injury, death, or property damage while a vehicle is in motion or ready to move, on a roadway. That's a traffic accident. But in my case, a man riding motorcycle car today say he lost control, he crashed into a bar, a median, that's what they claim, and he dies. No, that is not a traffic accident. That is a traffic incident. Again, if you don't admit that there's a problem, you can never find adequate solutions. If you don't admit that crime is a problem, you can't find the right solutions. And we don't have, we got a few, let me just whet your appetite for where we come again next. Because the president on his All Years Day press conference, he said, having made significant progress in enhancing safety countrywide, Guyana recorded its lowest crime figures for 2024. President Ali said during his end-of-year press conference at State House on Tuesday. The president noted that these improvements have contributed to a 13.6% reduction in the national crime rate as compared to 2023. Over the last 10 years, and quoting here, over the last 10 years, the lowest number of murders was recorded this year. Over the last 10 years, the lowest number of all categories of robberies were recorded this year. Over 10-year period, break-and enter and larceny reported were at the lowest. Now, that might be so when you single out those categories of crimes, but what happened to all the other categories that are not considered serious crimes? Do you know that not one of those crimes they allege that Brutus commit, not one, is regarded or recorded as a serious crime, not one. Not one of the 252. So money laundering is not a serious crime. Larceny by public officer is not a serious crime. All of those other offenses. Almost every day you pick up the paper, you hear about people caught with firearm. Not a serious crime, according to them. You hear people caught with cocaine, not a serious crime. So they're fooling themselves. They are fooling themselves. And let me show you some quick stats here before I bring in Mr. Conway. World of Statistics show, and this is for 2024, you know. This is last year. Let me show you. You might be able to see it properly. But here, look, I'm going to read to you. This is the stats about serious crimes in the Americas. Serious crimes in the Americas. Number one, Venezuela at 80.7%. 80, next, 78.9. Honduras, 72 flat. Trinidad and Tobago, 70.9. Jamaica, 67.4. Peru, number 6, 67.1. Guyana, number 7, at 66.3. Don't let me go any farther now. United States, they're right down at 26, 49.2. Barbados, 28 at 44.9. You got to face up to the facts that you have a problem. So you can try to fool the local people by telling them, oh, crime down, and we don't have a problem with crime. But when you look at the bodies, this is the world statistics, the people dealing with statistics worldwide. They put it up there over the weekend. And let me give you the next one about Georgetown specific. This is something to talk about Georgetown. Again, you might not be able to see it, but let me tell you, talk about the index, the safety index and crime in Georgetown. Crime index in Georgetown, right? They say 70.51 is the average. And they said level of crime. The first one is level of crime, 81.75. Crime increasing in the past 5 years, 78.63. Worries that your home might be broken into and things stolen, 71.13. Worried about being mugged or robbed, 80.7. Worries of your car being stolen is 58. Worries that things from your car being stolen, 70.00. Worries about being attacked, 62.8. You get worries being insulted. May I know the comment, 54.7 that you people worried of being insulted. Then worries being subject to physical attack because of your skin, color, ethnic origin, or gender or religion, that down at 39.19. Problem, people using or dealing drugs, that is 65.28. Problem, and here this one, problem about property crimes such as vandalism and theft, 79.25. Look at this, 79.25. And then I get problem, violent crimes such as assault and robbery, 81.13. And here this last one is problems about corruption and bribery, 87.16. And these people coming to tell you, oh, crime is down, crime is down, crime is down. They're fooling people. Where you have these international organizations doing things and telling you something different. Let me bring in Mr. Conway for his final comment and so CC, let me hear you on that, man. We got to talk about this. We got to talk and analyze this some more on the next program.
Yeah, sure. But you know, the president, you know, they get the president talking a whole bundle of, I can't even find a word to describe because of what they are feeding him with. Because, as you mentioned, it's only 11 crimes they're analyzing. It's only 11 crimes they're analyzing. And there's some 30 years ago story. Things like abduction is not serious crime. Apart from rape offenses under the Sexual Offense Act, not serious crime. Drug trafficking is not serious crime. So what happened at Matthews Ridge with the 8.5 tons of cocaine is not a serious crime. Gold smuggling is not serious crime. Money laundering is not serious crime. Unlawful possession of arms and ammunition is not serious crime. Discharging loaded firearm with intent, like what happened with Blackbush and them places, them is not serious crime. So I don't know. They need to revamp the whole thing. And the traffic, they're cocking the figures. And if your database is flawed, that means they actually going to take the correct situation has got to be flawed too. They're cocking it. They tell me more fatal incidents when it's fatal accident, you know. And when you watch the traffic situation, the chaos has continued on the road. There are still fatal accidents, numerous among. There's still damage accidents. There's still serious accidents. There's still minor accidents, and there's lawlessness. And I hear they're using one word. One word is not in the vocabulary anymore. I mean, it's not in the vocabulary in the parliament. But otherwise, corruption is not a word. And I'm going to make a bold statement that we can discuss at the next episode. I'm saying that, my opinion, that the Police Service Commission in its present state is not properly or duly constituted. Let me say, the Police Service Commission in its present state is not properly or duly constituted and cannot perform any functions of the commission. I'm going to refer to Justice, the Chief Justice, and other issues. But let me leave it as a appetizer for the next time we reach. I'm saying that the Police Service Commission in its present stage is not duly or properly constituted.
Yeah, we hear you. And when we come again, we have to pick up from this same report from the president, New Year's Day press conference. We have to also look at the president New Year's Day message and this composition of the Police Service Commission. Very interesting. You know, we lead the way and they're going to follow. We lead the way. We're going to initiate these discussions, because when we spoke about the Police Service Commission not being properly constituted some years ago, in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, nonetheless, they go out and say, Slow and Conway, Darkins, Chuplins. I remember Senior Counsel Risedale Ford had followed up with it, and Nandal had said word to the effect that Ford following Slow and Conway, and the matter went before the Chief Justice, and we were proven to be correct, that in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, according to the Constitution, the Police Service Commission could not have been properly constituted, and the judge so ruled. So we're going to come again and set the pace. We're going to do the research, we're going to read, and we're going to come, and we're going to tell them what we have to tell. But folks, we have come to the end of today's program. Again, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I encourage you to make your contribution. A new year, man. Your new year. So I encourage you to continue to make your subscription, or your donation rather, not subscription, to the upkeep of this program that many of you say is a wonderful program. And we need your support. We need your support, financial and otherwise. We need to come, we need to share the word. And we're going to come here, we're going to do the research, we're going to bring you the valuable and credible information. The Zelle number and the Cash App number is scrolling below for those of you who have access to Zelle and Cash App. And as I said a little while ago, we now have PayPal. So those of you who are interested in making a contribution towards PayPal, hit me up and I will tell you how it can be done. It's in the testing table. Hit me up and I'll give you the information. Folks, I have some, the other announcement I have to make is that on Wednesday, there's 2 days from now, I have a very important appointment that I can't miss. So we are not going to be here on Wednesday, but we are planning to come the following day. That is on Thursday. So share the word early. You can't say I didn't tell you. We are not going to be here on Wednesday because of a commitment that I have. Very important appointment that I can't miss. And I don't want to juggle and squeeze. So we're going to come on Thursday instead. So share the word and let people know that speaking out. I'm going to put out the notification. And you're going to catch a lot of people, because they're not subscribing. They're not following the page on Facebook. So therefore, when these things happen, they don't get the notification. Because on every occasion, I will put up the notification. On every occasion. So folks, this is the end of the first program for the new year. Season 4, episode 1. And we had a wonderful turnout today. I must compliment you all on your turnout and your interaction. So as we would normally say, stay well. We're still in the season, When is 12th night? Because I know the season ends at 12th night. So we're still in the festive season. Continue to enjoy. Continue to be safe. And until we meet again, as we plan now, God's willing, until we meet again on Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 12 o'clock Ghana time, I again implore you to stay well. Bye.